Hello. Hi. I'm trying to coax my dog out of the. You want to say hi, Debok? No? Where are you? He's just staring at me. Hi, everybody. How are you? Okay, he's coming. Stretching. Good. Say hi. You say hi to everybody. Ask how their week is going. Okay, get your pillow. Are you okay? Are you okay there? Are you comfortable? Okay. Hello. How is everyone? Okay, let me say hi to everybody. If I can get my stuff going. 1 second. So I don't use a mouse anymore for a while now. I use a pen tab. Um, I think the only time I use a mouse is when, like, I travel and I don't have an extra pen tab with me. Then I'll use a pen tab. But for the most part, I use a mouse, sorry, when I'm traveling. But usually when I am at home, I use a mouse. Or if it's like if I'm staying somewhere for a long time, I'll probably bring my pen tab. But it's better for your wrist. I don't know if you've ever had carpal tunnel syndrome, but it's pretty painful. So, hello. Okay. Hi, Robin. Our Amy, Fire Butterfly, Norwegian Wood, Lisa Parker, Leah Warburton, Angel Star, Gigi, Amy, Hanako Grace, Andy Big Night Sky, Lisa Parker, Letitia, Nadira, Reg Pear, Mina, Bomac, Warren, Pia, Courtney, Lakeisha, Sus, Pia, Bang Luna, Courtney, MLB, Nigma Price, Gigi, Warren, Arlene, on Twitch, Fire Butterfly, Helene, Juveline, Rani, Hanako Grace, Michelle Santiago, Curious Harlow, A Brown, SRJ, Elizar, Jax, A Brown, Purple, Pansy, I am Claudia, Shelling, PZ48128, MLB, Lisa, Mycel, Reg Bear, Just the Tea Please, Halinaw, Jasmine, Angel Star, Brisa, Del State, Elizar, Mina Pero, Carla Girl, Share Your Love. I have some tea for you guys from my source. Lorraine, LA Reina, SRJ, Michelle Santiago, Christy. LA Reina, I've been asking you a question. I've never gotten an answer about how to pronounce your name. Or probably you gave me an answer. I haven't read it. Um, but LA Reina or Lorena is also on Twitch. Letitia, Cutie Debak is a big baby. He is a big baby. And One Fine Day, Fire Butterfly, Leia, Norwegian Wood, Nigma Price, Rani, Parla Girl, Sisa, Mina, Feli, Bicrocosmos, Donna, Senri, Fire Butterfly, Marilyn Montalvo, Army, Hanako Grace, Seda, the Fairlane, yes, currently have carpal and it's a pain in the rear. So far, cortisone shots. Yeah, no. So that's why I started using this. Apobangpo, Sylvia, Angel Star, Mbella, Darlene, MZ Get Real, for Young Forever month. Wow, it's a lot. I used to be like done in like a minute. Lily, Nigma Price, Glee Cosentra, Robin Carr, Tickle Day, Asia. I've answered not LA. Not LA. So Lorena. So I got it the right the first time. Okay. Because when I pronounced it, some people were like, "Who's that?" So they said, "Oh, is that how it's pronounced?" I thought I was like, "Did I pronounce it incorrectly?" Beatrice, GB. Hi, GB. Jax, Ababang po, OT7. Some of the names are becoming familiar because I'm sending tickets to them for the concert. Okay. Okay. All right. I have some tea for you from my source. The reason I actually called him up because I was curious about the ticket numbers. So yeah, okay, I'll show you. Where is that? Okay. What slide did I put? Did I not put it? 1 second. Because there was a is this it? Nope. Is this it? No. Nope. I think I did not put it. So wait, maybe I still can. So I was curious because there. No. Replace. No. Presentation. BTS updates. Okay. So I was curious because, Live Nation published, well, not published, well, yeah, they put it out on their story about the number of tickets that BTS career, the ARIRANG World Tour sold. And they said it's 2.4 million tickets. And I was like, I said, I was like, so I'm so horrible in computing because I was way off. I said, if they sold 2.4 million for 44 shows, I was way off, like my estimate was way off. I would accept like 10%, but this I was just super way off. So I said, it's like, wow. I said, I must suck now at computing stuff. Um, so I actually went down the rabbit hole and went through the entire computation. And I'll show you what I did. So I'm not way off. It's just that the way that people interpreted this tweet was wrong. So they were saying that for the 44 dates, BTS sold 2.4 million. If that is the case, they average about 58. No, but like less than that, like 53,000 tickets per venue. And I was like, why on earth would they average 53,000 per venue if they have a 360 stage? Like, are they not selling the bleachers? But we saw the ticketing. They were selling bleachers. So I was like, what's up? What's wrong with this? And then I was reading the text and I realized that they said 2.4 million tickets leading to the additional shows. So, number one, when they tweeted this, the additional shows weren't added yet. Okay, so that's like an additional one in Tampa, Florida, Stanford, California, Las Vegas, and Nevada. Sorry, Nevada. So Tampa, Florida, Stanford, USA, and Las Vegas, Nevada. And then there's also an addition, and then this is Live Nation. So what's the other provider? SeatGeek. They did not count the ones that are not under them. So I was like, so I'm not way off, right? I'm always right in the money. For 44 dates, this is right around 3 million. It's not 2.4. If you add everything, this is 2.4. If you add the ones that that they added, and also the venues that are not under Live Nation, it would have been 3 million. So I computed, I actually went to I decided to geek out, and is this it? Okay, let me make it bigger. So I actually went and track, maybe make it bigger. Oh no, make it this way. There you go. Let me adjust it. So I actually went to the site of each venue and checked how many tickets they are selling for a regular sporting event. So when it's a regular sporting event, they're actually able to maximize the audience. Okay, so 3 additional and 4-seat geek. So what I did was I went to each of the venue and I generated I looked up at what their maximum number of tickets would be. They would be selling if it's a 360. Okay, so that's one thing I did. Second is that I did consider that there are people on the floor. So I put a column where I added 5,000 more per venue. Now, 5,000 is very conservative. They could very well fit 1,000 in there. Sorry, 10,000 in there. But I did consider front of house. So they do, each concert has a front of house. That is the booth of the sound and the lights engineer. So I'm sure that you would see this at the end of the other, like if it's a regular concert setup, at the end of the field, the other end of the field, you will see the setup of the sound engineers, light engineers, and they are usually elevated, which would block anybody's view when they are behind them, and so they would usually block that spot because no, they won't see anything, right? Okay, so I considered, so maybe there is a spot that they are going to be blocking because front of the house will be there. So I said maybe a 5,000 estimate is going to be enough. So I added that. I created a column that adds 5,000 for that, just to be conservative. It could still very well be an additional 10,000. I do plan to go into the seating arrangement later and actually count what's how many they are actually selling. Now, the other thing is there are things that they, and this came from my source, there are things that they will be doing that will prevent them to block, sell more because they might go around the venue. Um, can you share what the ticket looks like? What do you mean? What do you mean what the ticket looks like? Physical ticket? They don't do physical ticket anymore. If you mean like Ticketmaster ticket, is that what you're saying? Is that what you're talking about? Feliz, answer me. Is that what you're talking about? Like the digital ticket? Okay, so that's what I did. I went to the venues and looked at how many tickets they're going to be, the maximum capacity of the venue when it is a regular sporting event, because then they're able to maximize the all the seating areas and not have any kind of like block. They won't have to block any spot because there is not going to be an FOH, a front of house. So I came up with that. So Goyang is 41,000, 55 for Tokyo Dome. And then so all of that, maybe I should not. They haven't sold Tokyo Dome yet, right? Um, so if I take that out, because they haven't sold, have they sold Tokyo Dome yet? They haven't, right? They haven't sold Tokyo Dome. Why are people barking? I don't know. So, okay, so Stanford, Allegiant, Alliance Arena, all of that. So it's the maximum capacity for a regular sporting event. And this is what I arrived, where I landed. So as you can see, if we're not talking, they didn't go on sale yet. So let me remove that. Okay. Sylvia, practice. I don't like the barking. I would rather, that's one thing that I never like. Like, I would rather scream their name. I would rather, I don't know what the barking is for. Like, wouldn't they want to hear their name instead of barking? So I never joined that trend. Sorry. Just like, no, I would rather just yell their name. Okay. So, so I'm still not off the mark. If Tokyo Dome hasn't been sold yet, then we are still close to 3 million. So with how many venues is that? So with 44 venues, we are at 2.9 if we add 5,000 to the maximum capacity. You're calling for Deb. Debak, they're calling for you. They want your attention. He likes his name though. He doesn't bark a lot. The only time he barks is when he doesn't like the person I'm talking with. And he even wouldn't bark when that happens. He would usually just pull me away, or walk away, knowing that I would follow him. Or when he smells something, like when we're at home and there's somebody outside the door that he doesn't know, then he would bark. Other than that, if you want his attention, just call his name. Then you would get his attention. Okay. Hobie seems to embrace the barking. I still want their names screamed. Like when I was in Jin's concert and they started doing that. Jin's, was it Jin? Or I think it was J-Hope because it started with Suga. And I guess it spread during J-Hope. I was like, no, I just would rather cheer for his name. And they said that. Like they would rather hear their name. Okay. So going back, with 44 venues sold, we are at 2.9 million. So I'm not way off because in my computation, in the original computation that I presented to you guys, it would be right around 6 million, just over 5 million once they finish all the original 81 dates or 79 or something like that, or 78 dates. I said they're going to be right around five, a little over five, not a little, but over 5 million, north of five, south of 6 million. So with 44 shows, I'm not far off. This is where we are. So if we do not consider that they are maximizing the capacity with audience on ground, then we will land at 2.7 million. Okay. And then with additional, let's just say that because there are people on the ground, we add an additional 5,000 people there, then we are at 2.981 million. So that's where we are. The tweet of Live Nation does not take into consideration the venues that they are not handling, SeatGeek, and that are being handled by SeatGeek, and then the additional three shows. So just to clarify, so I just hope that armies are going to be careful in spreading stuff. Because this just spread and it was picked up by Rock, thinking that for 44 shows they sold 22.4 million. It's like that's ridiculous. That would put their average at like 50, I don't know, like 54,000 per venue. I mean, they maximize. That's why they did the 360. So let's analyze what it is that we're spreading before we actually spread them. So it's not 2.4. Okay. We're close to 3. Okay. The AT&T capacity, the AT&T has a capacity of, see, even I went under. So, New Jeans invented a market. So even I went under. So just be careful. this this is what spread. I mean, haters are going to use that eventually. They're gonna say, "Oh, 44 venues, 2.4 million. You were only selling half the venue." It's like, come on, give me a break. Okay. Did anyone buy from TechPick? You know what? I will only buy from like actual resellers like Ticketmaster. StubHub is an official reseller, although they are not connected to the artist itself. but at least for this and also buy using PayPal so that you can recall what you did, what you paid for. Okay. All right. So be careful what you're spreading. And then the other thing is I just someone sent this to me, and this was one of the funniest tweets that I've ever encountered. This was tweeted like way back in 2016. And I've been an army since 2013, but back then, and I've mentioned this several times as well, we weren't really that into like we weren't deep into Twitter. So we were like, it's just we're waiting for stuff from people that help us in North America. So for example, we were always watching um the announcement of Bangtan subs because they transcribe the videos and the songs. So we would wait for their translation. So we would like constantly see if they've tweeted something, if they've uploaded something on their website. But all the other things were pretty much not paying attention to any of that. So this tweet I've actually never encountered until recently. Someone sent this to me and she tweeted this back in 2016 and was one of and I remember just seeing this tweet and just it was so funny that she said I hope armies realize that BTS produce their own music because Big Hit can't actually afford writers and producers. so, so this I believe this fan is a fan of another boy band and from another agency obviously, and they are known for picking someone else's song, meaning someone will write it, it would be given to them and then they'll sing and dance to it. So during the early times, from the North American side, we were very proud of the fact that BTS actually produce and write their own music. So we're happy about that. They write their own raps, their own rhymes, and we knew that the others also contributed, even the vocal line. So we were like that was a source of pride for the North American fan base. And culturally, you know that in North America, we put a lot of credence to them actually writing their own stuff. Nadira, thank you, Nadira. Fairlane sending much love, Borahe Army. Thanks for always supporting each other. Thank you. Thank you. I hope that you stay a long time in our community. Okay, so and I guess this fan base sort of caught wind of that, and that was like that it was one of the reasons they made it in the US. Member one for I thought I would never see BTS in person, but I felt encouraged enough by your own words to try. I can't believe it. I will see them in Madrid. Oh wow! Yay! Okay, that's very good. Congratulations. I congratulate you. So you got some tickets. Okay, that's a diss. They write their own music. It was a diss for them because, as I've said, so there was the great divide existed way more. It was more pronounced during that time. There's the North American side supporters, and one of the reasons that they became popular here in the US was the fact that they were writing their own music because, as I've said, culturally in the US we put a lot of credence to artists who create their own stuff. And so what fans learned about them writing their own stuff, writing their own music, and it was well documented. Um, it's one of the reasons they clicked. And so the K side kind of learned about that and sort of started bashing that fact. They were discrediting BTS and they were saying that it's not because it was their choice, it's because they don't have the money to pay other producers. And so this became like a big thing back then. And as I've said, I did not know about this until probably 2 years ago because we in the North American side were just busy doing our own thing with BTS. And so apparently there's a big war about it. So they started like insulting BTS for writing their own music, saying that they're doing it because they don't have a choice. That's number one. Number two, they started getting bashed for their horrible styling, saying that Big Hit didn't have enough money to style them properly. That's why they look like a rejected basketball team or a rejected choir in a school or something like that. They also started dissing but there were a lot of issues. Another would be the accent of RM. When you're not a native American speaker, you do have and a native American speaker would hear it a mile away, right? So they started using that number one, RM never claimed that he had any kind of American accent, that he had kind of any African American accent. That is not true. He never claimed that. But they started bashing him for it. He's like, oh, he doesn't sound like African American. He sounded like this and that and whatever. So that it was just funny because I was going through some numbers, as I've said, and I was going through some DMs on my ex, and I saw that someone forwarded that tweet to me, that at that time they were actually using the very thing that we liked about them. One of the very things that we liked about them, they were using it against them. So, and there's more. There's more as I dig deeper into what the things that people have been sending me. There's more actually. So, but the tip that I got from my sources that they most likely are going to be going around the stadium. So probably in a like a car or something, they'll go around just to be closer to the people that are sitting on the audience and not on the field. So there's a possible they're trying to work it out. That's the reason there's a huge space in between the edges of the crowd on the ground and the so they essentially open the track area in a stadium. They're going to keep that open because that's where they're going to be going around. So but they're trying to work it out. Number one concern for a lot of stadiums would be security, and in saying that, because armies for the most part is well behaved, especially if we are in a like like an official event. We're very very respectful. We keep our distance and whatever. So but you do have to understand that for security, that's not enough. Like saying that the the crowd is well behaved, that's not enough for them. And usually the rebuttal is that all it takes is one person. So one person and everyone else could follow. So that's a big concern for them. There are also discussions as to whether, is there's a way they can actually go closer to the 200 line, but that will be up to the limitation of the venue. Not every venue has the capacity to support that. So, um, so yeah, let's see what's going to happen. But they are trying to make it happen, and I thought there are always some attention seeking idiots who misbehave. True. Still remember someone intentionally throwing something at Jim and yes, I remember that. So the intention is because you do not some members of BTS actually have fear of heights, like an actual condition of fear. It's physiological, not just psychological. And so they do have to provide protection to the boys if they ever want to um, make an effort to go closer to the audience, those that are in the 200, 300 area. But not every venue has the capacity, meaning like physical structure to do it. They don't have the physical structure to make that happen, not without like more sophisticated flying machines, which is, well, you know what I mean. But even then, for example, if they do decide to like use a an air balloon or something similar, you still have to give the boys like the security that they're not going to fall, especially for the ones that have fear of heights. So they're trying to make to work it out. um so that's a spill. That's a clue. And then the other thing is um so there was allegedly like a huge discussion on whether they're going to make everything uh like permission to dance. They were seven the entire from the beginning to till the end. It was the seven of them. But one of the consensus allegedly, and this is alleged, one of the consensus allegedly is that they're gonna have to see how the body is going to react to it. They're not getting any younger anymore. So they're gonna see how the body is gonna react to it, because it might be better in the long term for for sheer practical physical reasons. It might be better in the long run to allow either unit performances or solo performances so that they can get their body to rest. So let's see what's going to happen. Although allegedly, these are all alleged, that BTS wants to give the fans the OT7 experience, like maximize the experience. But if you're going to do it for 18 months, right? You're going to do it like four times a week sometimes. You do need to allow your body to rest. So let's see. I thought they would do subunits. So that's one of the discussions. They either will experiment to do seven first and then revert to doing units. um the concern is that if you do that, then not everybody's getting the same experience, right? So the early, for example, if they settle for OT7 in the early stage, all OT7 performances in the early stage, then you're not giving this in, like, when the early part of the tour, towards the end, you're giving them another experience, which could also be a marketing tactic, because then those that watched early might want to watch again because this is a different experience for them now. But let's see where they land on. I think the biggest concern for them is making sure that they are giving armies the type of experience that armies are waiting for. We've waited for this for 4 years, so they want to give it to us. So let's see where they land. But that's part of the discussion. And then second is that since some of the areas won't have the capacity to support the festival, like the fan event, it might come in different size and in different forms. So I've told you that a lot of my friends have been bidding for a spot. Actually, not bidding; they've been pitching, meaning a lot of these brands are actually offering to lead the development of the fan event. So outside the area, or in some cases, like in the entire city or in different parts of the city, there are going to be places for armies to visit. um, Now it's going to come in different capacities because not every area will have the same thing to offer. Like, for example, if you do it in Nevada, in Las Vegas, there's a lot of establishments and businesses and companies that can cooperate and work with them um, to provide that army experience. But then you go to Massachusetts, they probably have like one downtown, right? So it's like different, yeah, different capacities. But there are a lot of brands that have been pitching not just to join but to actually lead that. Okay. But they bet they will mix old and new. Yeah, or for sure. So I think based on let's just base it on like a 2 hour concert, like what J Hope did and Jin, a little over 2 hours. They, like, J Hope burned through 30 songs, I believe, for 2.5 hours. Um, so that's what you're looking at. So they definitely will be mixing old and new. Um, yeah. Okay. I'm sure that Jimin and J Hope will have an amazing collab. Oh yeah. I mean, I definitely miss the dance line. I miss that 3J. I hope they do something together. I do miss the rap line doing Cypher. I miss the vocal line doing their own thing. I think any kind of combination I would be happy with. And at the end of the day, they are right. Like, if I have my preference, I would like to see OT7 from beginning to end. But I also don't mind the subunits because we haven't seen many of the subunits. But also, we haven't sorry, but also I want to also think about like what's good for their bodies, right? If you're dancing from beginning to end, it's not like they're standing there and not singing. They don't. Like, they're dancing from beginning to end. I wish there's like a portion that where they're just be sitting and then just singing. Maybe they're going to incorporate that. Let's see. Okay. Um, I would not. I would go not floor because of line of sight, but that's me. Subunits, the album may also have, yeah, that may also, they may also have that. My guess would be the crown, and the song related to the crown could probably be Jin, RM, and V, primarily because they were the ones who played with the crown. So, but let's see, who knows, right? And I know that some of them have been hinting on this, like banana in cars. So maybe there's something about speed or something like that. Who knows? Um, yeah. They can't sit still. They always end up jumping up and dancing. I saw that too on the K-pop Shock channel. I want Ted dance moves. His dance challenges are on fire. I wish they will include solo songs. They can in sit my me and sing. I believe Hype 360 is the best part of the organization that develops the festival. They stated they want to have something in each city, but it depends on each city's interest and location and capacity as well. Like just their physical, like the physical resources of the of the city. Okay. So those are my the rumors. Let's see what how accurate he's going to be. Although he seems like the things that he's telling me nowadays are seems to be like more operational because I guess they are on that stage now that they are on the execution part. So a lot of the things he's been saying like, yeah, that's operational. Some of them like operational challenges that they're experiencing. So let's see what's going to happen if what whether they go around using a car in the track or something. Let's see. Okay. Let's go to Min Heejin. Do you want to go down, baby? You want to stay there? Go down. Okay, bye bye. Okay. Okay, bye bye. Why are you being a baby? Okay. So some of you requested for bye bye. Yeah, he went under my bed. So some of you requested for a quick rundown. Where's my pen tab? Okay, there you go. So some of you requested for a quick rundown of what happened. So I'll make this quick and then I'll go to Luminate and then I'll end with BTS. How is that? So that you go all off with a good vibe than anything. But this is more a an analysis, like a psychological analysis on how she is behaving. Should I move here? Okay. And how she's behaving because she's not in a good mental state. I don't think she's in a good mental state. And they said so. So just a quick rundown of what happened. This is the lawyer that represents him now. Sejong has not been fired from all the other cases, but this guy is going to handle the case in defending her against the case that Hybe filed against Min Hee-jin, Daniel, and the mother of Daniel. So specifically, he's going to be handling that. He's going to be definitely working with Daniel. Now, some recent development from last night. Was she ever? Allegedly, according to Yi Jin Ho, which is a former reporter of MBC, now he's an independent journalist and he has his own YouTube channel. According to him, um, Hae-in gave or turned over a crucial piece of evidence to Kim and Chang. And that is the reason she decided to do this to combat or to try and control or preempt whatever it is that Hae-in turned over to Kim and Chang. So, because a lot of people are asking and wondering, like, why are you doing this now instead of doing this in court and proving this in court? Why are you doing this in the court of public opinion in the press? Well, allegedly, she had to rush because Hae-in according to Yi Jian-ho, turned over a crucial piece of evidence to Kim and Chang. Okay, next is that Minji allegedly is waiting for the decision of the court before she makes her decision on whether to return to Adore or not. This is all according to Yi Jian-ho. And that if Min Hee-jin wins, then she will not go back to Adore. And I thought Adore can do something funny. Like if they win and Minji says, I'm gonna go back, they should say, yeah, we changed our minds. We're just gonna sue you with that. How's that? You waited for the court decision? We did too. Okay. And then in relation to this tag PR thingy, if you would remember, she's trying to play off this tag PR thing, saying that tag PR actually helped in doing black propaganda against her. Allegedly, in the last hearing, Kim and Chang lawyer asked her about it. And the primary question is that if you think that you were targeted by tag PR, why was there no traffic on the website minheejin.net before you raised the opinion or you raised the alarm about minheejin.net? And she did not provide any answer. Like she went and ranted, but didn't really address the question. Okay, so she's just trying to coax tag PR in there to make her name appear and look and sound bigger. So now, in terms of some of you asked, like, how is the market and the public reacting to this? And this is one representative of that. The public are kind of sick of it already, primarily because some of them, especially the ajumas, they all feel like you just give these three people a break. The three girls that went back, they are trying to restart their career. Just leave them alone. Like, stop talking and just leave them alone already. Okay, so that's part of the public opinion. So that summary, here's a summary of what happened. Do remember that everything that she said, well, so she wasn't in the press conference. According to her lawyer, she was in distress and she was depressed and sad because of this thing that developed and happened with the uncle. Okay, so all these events allegedly happened after the audit, and the audit happened in April 22, 2024. By June, so April is when she was audited. By June, she got a text message from one of the fathers of of the New Jeans members. And the father said, I have a brother. So this is now what they call the uncle, who has extensive connections in Hybe and could handle the negotiation. Okay, this is key because do remember the timeline. This entire thing that the brother, she met the uncle after the audit. After the audit is when she met the uncle. Okay, now, okay, that so the audit happened before she met the uncle. So June to July, she was introduced to the uncle. Okay. And then the uncle sort of positioned himself as someone who's very close to Hybe and has connections to Hybe because he's pretty, I guess, well off. He owns several companies. And he's saying that I actually have connections to them. I can mediate for a negotiation. So do remember what the uncle is allegedly claiming is that I will bridge you to Hybe so that you can negotiate for a decent exit. Okay? That's what he is advocating for. And all of this happened after the audit, not before. Okay? So she said, okay, let's make that happen. Nothing happened. So for months, for weeks, she was waiting. Nothing was happening. All right. Now, August 27 of 2024, she was dismissed. Okay. She was dismissed as the CEO of Adore. So she went on frenzy, very, very sad. She lost her position. Someone else took over her place. And then September 9 of 2024, Mr. Lee, the uncle, contacted her and again claimed that he had connections inside inside Hybe. And this time, he actually named somebody and showed Min Hee-jin telegram text messages between him and this executive from Adore. And that executive turned out to be Shin Yong-jae. And if you would remember, for all of you, I'm sure that you remember this guy. He was a former CEO of Big Hit. Okay. So during the um discharge of Jin and the discharge of J-Hope, he was the one who was there. He welcomed them back, gave them flowers and all. So so that's his guy. Now he moved to Japan, to Hybe Japan, and he's leading Hybe Japan. And so Min Hee-jin met with him and negotiated, and she said, I'm going to give up my put option. I'm going to give it up. Just reinstate me as a CEO and guarantee that there is going to be label independence. But I will give up my put option. Okay. That's what she was negotiating for. Nothing happened. Okay. September 19, 2024, Mr. Lee um, went to Min Heejin again because nothing was happening. Again, he went to Min Heejin and said that I know someone that has direct connection to Bang Shiyuk, and he can make Bang Shiyuk come and mediate this thing and resolve all of this conflict. Okay. But he wasn't mentioning names. Eventually, a name pop up. And this was the CEO of Davo Link, Park Jong-gyu. So Park Jong-gyu then eventually told her that this is a political thing and that there are very important plans happening in Hybe and it involves new genes. Okay. So the lawyer said that this is most likely not true, meaning the CEO of Davo Link does not have a direct connection to Bang Shiyuk, and he was just saying that so that he can make Min Heejin believe that he has a direct link to Bang Shiyuk, so that Min Heejin will just do anything that the CEO of Davo Link wants her to do. Okay, that's what she's saying. See, they're saying that she did not initiate this. This is actually people around Min Heejin, the family members of uh of new genes that are starting the tampering. It wasn't Min Heejin. Okay. Now, Min had said before that she never talked to any outside investors. So remember the statements because she's starting to lose it in the different statements that she doesn't match anymore. Like it contradicts each other. Remember, all of this happened after the audit. Okay, after the audit. Now, she never she met with she got that text message right around she met with the CEO Davo Link September 19. Okay, after she was already fired. Now, they're saying that this text message of CEO of Davo Link proves that she really has no intention of tampering. She has no intention of getting new genes out of Adore, and she has no intention of taking Adore with her out of Hybe because she doesn't even know this investor. Okay. Now, September 28th, so nothing was happening. September 28th, she met with the CEO of Hybe, Yi Jae-sang, September 28, 2024. And she released the recording of that conversation. So she recorded it. The CEO of Hybe did not know. Then CEO of Hybe did not know about it, but she recorded it. And in that conversation, the CEO said this here. So she said, Yi Jae-sang said, I heard a rumor that you have been contacted by Terra Science and Davo Link. And Min Heejin said, I have no idea who is that. What kind of company is that? And Yi Jae-sang said, we received intelligence that people like that have been trying to approach you. I was worried, don't meet with them. I'm not saying you did meet with them, but flies like that tend to swarm. He said, so don't meet with them. He warned her, don't meet with them. And this is her response. And this is very telling. She said, honestly, I'm not interested in investments at all. And right now, Hybe is growling like they're trying to kill me. Do you think I'm crazy enough to meet people and let rumors spread? If my name ever comes up, people would obviously make a big fuss. Companies far more famous than this are contacting me. Companies whose names you'd recognize immediately, but I'm not meeting them. That's actually better for Hybe too. Rather than me going around doing things elsewhere, you should think about it from various angles, she said. Okay. So when she said this, so they're saying that now what they are trying to make, what Min Heejin is claiming is that Hybe set this up. So it was actually Hybe who asked Davo Link or worked with Davo Link, one form of another, to set her up for tampering. They wanted to use Davo Link approaching her as an evidence of her tampering. So the reporter questioned the lawyer and asked something very practical. You're claiming that Hybe tried to use the tampering issue to its advantage. Okay. But you also said that CEO Yi Jae-sang told her not to meet with them. If Hybe intended to use for tampering, if Hybe intended that to use that for tampering, why would he try to stop it? Wouldn't he just let it happen? Why was he warning her? And the lawyer of Min Heejin got pissed, visibly lost his cool, and said, "Well, it's not that that's necessarily what they were trying to do. It's not that they necessarily did with that intention from the start. Rather, the point is that in the end, didn't they benefit from it anyways? That's the gist of what we're saying." But he allegedly visibly lost cool when that question was asked, which I thought was a very practical question. If Hybe really was trying to use her meeting with Davo Link and other investors to their advantage, wouldn't they just let it happen? Act like they don't know anything so that she would continue with whatever it is that she was doing and use that. Because the deeper she gets into it, then the better it is for their evidence, for their case. Okay. Okay, next. Um, and this is something that you have to be careful of when you're talking with other people, especially if you're going to be in an executive position or own your own business someday. Remember that one of the classic traits, or one of the most used defensive strategies of people, is deflection. So when you confront them with something, they deflect it towards something else. So, for example, um, Yi Jae-sang told her three things. We've heard that people were trying to approach you. Don't meet with them. They are problematic people. If you have the best of intentions, if you're trying to really keep yourself out of trouble, what you would do, the normal response is that I don't know who these people are. Are they dangerous? Why are you saying that they are problematic? What do I need to watch out for and stuff like that, right? Because someone is expressing concern. And if you think that this person can give you a tip, then most likely you're going to ask for more tips. So why are they dangerous? Who are they? I don't know who they are, but I definitely will watch out for them. Instead, what she said was, she shifted the conversation away from the risk that is being flagged and towards restraint and innocence. So she said, "No, why will I do that? I'm not doing that. Why will I meet with these people? I don't know who they are. There are a lot of other people, other companies bigger than they are, who wanted to meet me." So she's deflecting towards another issue. It's like she's preempting self-exoneration. So she went three classic steps. I'm not interested in investments at all. Do you think I'm not crazy enough? So from logical to emotional. And then if my name comes up, it's obviously a cause of trouble. So logical, I'm not interested in investment at all. Emotional, do you think I'm crazy enough to meet them? And then self aggrandization, is that what it's called? If my name comes up, I'll obviously cause trouble. So she essentially answered an accusation that was never made. She's trying to defend herself against an accusation that was never made. All Yi Jae-sang said was that don't meet with them because they are dangerous. And she's like, do you think I'm crazy? If my name ever comes up, people are going to be talking about it. So there was no reason. The most logical response would be for self-aggrandization. Okay, so yeah, self-aggrandization is what she did. So logical, emotional, and then self-aggrandization. And then she she continued with her positioning herself on a higher level. Companies far more famous than this, names you'd recognize, are contacting me. So she's trying to shift the power balance back to her favor, to herself. Because right now it's with Hybe and Adore, right? Because she was the one who approached them to try and mend things. So since she was the one who was approaching, the upper hand is on Hybe and Adore. Okay. Now she's trying to shift it by making herself feel important, or sorry, making herself appear important and big. Companies that you know the name of are approaching me, and I'm not saying yes. So she's trying to say that I am an important person. I'm a desirable person. And that is actually good for Hybe. An attempt to shift it because she knows Hybe has the upper hand. She's trying to say, well, I'm here, I'm loyal, not because simply not because you're worth it, but because I'm choosing to, and you owe it to me. So this is a favor to Hype that I'm not actually going with those companies. Okay. Now, she also claimed, the lawyer also claimed that Min Heejin made multiple attempts to try and bridge the negotiation between New Jeans and Adore so that New Jeans can return as five. So, according to the lawyer, she tried to tell Hybe, I can bring them back. I can bring them back to Adore. I'll negotiate for you. Okay. What would be the reason for those companies contacting her? They said that they want to invest in her, buy her out of the contract, and let her start anew. How is it a favor? How is it a favor when she met with them? Exactly. She was trying to shift the balance. So she's saying that me not signing with these companies, with this big companies, is a favor to you, because I could easily do it, but I'm not doing it for you. She's saying. So she's like, I'm doing you a favor. Be grateful that I'm doing this, because if I'm a bad person, I can just sign with them, start my own company, and take you down. That's what she's saying. But I'm not doing it because I'm a loyal, kind person. So you have to be grateful for what I am doing. Okay. So the lawyer also claimed that Min Heejin tried to bridge New Jeans with Adore. And she tried it multiple times. Okay. I'm starting to find her interesting. Yeah, so I'm studying psychology. That's why I find her very, very interesting. Um, she quit herself, and then so these are the speculations. Why is she doing that? Um, Min Heejin said that Davo Link hiked up their stock prices by associating themselves with her and with New Jeans. Again, trying to make herself appear bigger and important. She's claiming when they got associated with me, the stock prices went up, which is not true. When that happened, the stock prices actually dropped. It went up for one day, I think, because they said that they're going to buy back the stocks or something like that. But for the whole of July, it was just going down. So, no, not true. Next. Um, so a lot of people are speculating that one of the reasons that she came out with this, aside from the fact, not the fact, but aside from the rumor that Hae-in provided Kim and Chang an important piece of evidence, is to stop Minji from returning. So she's trying to get a hold of her and stop her from actually signing back to Adore, because then that would completely destroy any of her um, narratives. You already have three people who went back. One of which is the one that even lied to the National Assembly about Hybe, and they still went back to Adore. If Minji comes back, all of her narratives are completely destroyed. So she's trying to influence her decision by doing this, by making it appear as if she is the victim and it's actually one of the fathers or the uncles of the person who went back to Hybe, which is Hae-in. And that is not confirmed. It's just that most commonly Hae-in is the one being associated to Davo Link because his uncle works there. So if you're Minji and you realize, oh my God, my own friends did this to my quote unquote mother, professional mother, then they must be bad people. I don't want to go back to that. So that's one speculation, that she's of trying to influence Minji. Next is that she's trying to spoil the comeback of the three. So Hae-in, Herin, and Hani are already back in Hybe. So, and they are already starting their preparation for their comeback. So last night, I did say that there was this rumor that if the three are going to stay as New Jeans inside Hybe, they are going to add more people to the group. So they're going to reconstruct the group. So I don't know if you've heard of this. Let me know if you've heard about the YG rumor. But okay, so say yes if you've heard of it, no if you haven't heard of it. So she's one of the reasons they said is that she could probably be trying to spoil the comeback of the three. Um, and then she's most likely trying to preemptively discredit the witnesses that are going to come forward, because in many of the cases they have already stated that they are going to no. Okay, so there was this girl there was this trainee in YG Entertainment. Okay, so she's been a K-pop trainee for a while. She trained for another agency before, don't know where. Then went to YG. Okay, so she's a known YG trainee. She's been seen outside YG. You know how this trainee actually are being pre-marketed, right? So even though people are saying they're private citizens, it's actually pre-marketing because they kind of want to build the fan base of these girls and these boys. So it's one of those efforts of YG to build her fan base. So she would be there. They would usually allow her outside of the company of YG. And one of the glaringest glaringest proofs that you can use in that is that they don't have to be in front of YG. There is a basement. They can exit from the basement. There are cars. There are company cars. They can be driven from the company to wherever it is that they live. When they are allowed out in the public, it means they want to be seen, or the marketing team wants people to see them. Okay. So it is not a healthy practice, but that is the practice. Okay. All right. So it was already being pre-marketed. Okay. Now, usually when you're a trainee slated to debut, they ask you to not go to social media. They shut down her social media. So she did. She shut down her social media. And then she went back to social media. Now, allegedly, I don't know who this girl is. I have never seen of her, but they said that she's a really good rapper and that it was a puzzle that she didn't make it to Baby Monster, and probably not going to make it to the new group that is going to launch this year under YG as well. So I guess she stopped training because she reactivated her social media, and now fans sort of got wind of some word that she's starting to train for another agency. They did some investigation, and one of the candidates would be Adore. So they think that she, along with another girl or two more girls, are going to be added to the lineup. So it most like if there are three members, they're most likely going to add three more, or probably four. So they go seven members instead of um, six, or definitely more. I definitely do not think that they will go for five members because it's too much of visual nostalgia. Old fans to remember when they come back, their number one enemy is not Islet or Le Seraphim or Black or Baby Monster or whoever. Their number one enemy is the old version of New Jeans. So, and the visual aspect, our vision is one of the strongest driver of nostalgia. So, breaking that visual side would be a big help to them. So, most likely they're going to break away from the five-member group. Okay. So as you probably know that they are calling in new witnesses to the different cases that they have against her. Adore is calling in new witnesses to the different cases against her, and she probably wants to discredit them in advance by shifting this. So once the witness says their piece, she can easily say, I already know that. I warned all of you to the public. I warned all of you that they are going to say that. See, they're saying that. So and of course, she probably want to shift the moral battlefield. Do remember that she does have a company that she's running right now, and that company would need investors. And the only way she can really, really get investors is if the investors trust her. So she won't have anyone trusting her if she retains this traitor sort of image. So she needs to shift it so that even if she loses the case, at least in the public opinion field, there will be people that will say, well, she was set up. And it's all because, and one of the reasons would be the business that she's setting up now. She does need investors. And probably also the legacy that she has. She would rather be known as my slides are not working. So she probably wants to be known. For her, it is better. Um, None of my slide is working. Okay, so she's probably oh there you go. It worked. So she for her, she would probably prefer to be known as like a not I don't want to say like a naive person rather than a traitor. Being a traitor also puts her in criminal danger because she can be sued criminally for that. But at least if she's just naive, that's not a crime. Being naive is not a crime, but intending to overthrow your own company is a crime. So she's probably trying to save herself from any criminal charges. Okay. So 3 trainees added to make a new group of 6 or 7 seems like a very necessary change for their whole image. Would she rather be incompetent than a traitor? I think so. Because as I've said, you would rather incompetence or naivete is not a crime. Being a traitor is a crime. So she can go to jail for being a traitor and not for being stupid. Right? So, okay. I feel like people are not falling for her lies anymore at the conference anymore, especially after the first press conference. Makes her a bad CEO. Incompetent is the word. Incompetent. I need to go. Bye everyone. Bye Jang Chop Choden 72712. Okay, what are the consequences of being convicted for tampering for her? It depends whether they're going to be um, suing her criminally or civilly. So civil, most likely just money. If it's a criminal case, then she's gonna go to jail. Yeah, um, like like changing documents and stuff like that. That's a criminal case. But she is egomaniac. Who would invest in a business where the founder is incompetent? You have she does have proof of success, and that is New Jeans. But there is no going back to being proven a traitor. There's no going back from a corporate side. Remember, a criminal case may be forgiven. A corporate one will not be forgiven by the corporate. Her being an egomaniac is usually her downfall. It is usually her downfall. True. Okay, where am I? Where's my slides? Okay. Do you have questions before I move on to the next topic? Where's my It sounds like Minji does not want to be there. She would only stay if Min Heejin is not proven she tampered. Why would Adore want to keep her? Exactly. If it was my decision, I'd pull the funniest thing and wait for her decision to come back. If I win, and when she decides to come back, I'll go, we changed her mind. You know what? It's okay. You can go. Reminder, Power Hour vote is open now. Reminder, Power Hour vote is open now. Say that said. Okay, questions. Do you have questions before I go on to the next topic? Proof of success with Hybe's backing. With Hybe's backing. Will they change their names? I don't think so. That name still has value. It's a bad value, but hasn't been Heejin implicated the police, and now she's talking tampering, both of which are not good if either gets offended. The oversight people in the police when they feel they have been made a fool. Definitely. So yeah, I think she at least, I used to think that she's a bad person, but as I study psychology, I also realized that there is a possibility she's not aware that she's manipulating New Jeans, and that she's not aware that she is exhibiting narcissistic tendencies. That's also a possibility. Like in the deepest of her soul, there is a possibility that she thinks that everything that she did was because it has to be done, not because of her own. That's a possibility. Like we all know because we're logical. But there's a possibility she doesn't know. And we can't diagnose her from a distance. Only like a psychologist that will be there to talk to her. That's the only. I do not feel sorry for her. Such a narcissistic main character. Very narcissistic main character. Okay, Luminate, are you ready? Very, very interesting findings. So I will just go through, I will make this public and available on Patreon. Well, I will make this available in public, on Patreon. And then you can just download it from there. And then, but I'll go through some of the major points that their study actually revealed specifically focusing on things and findings that have something to do with Asian entertainment or Asia as a market. Okay. All right. So some interesting findings. Actually, I think I can share this tab. Oh, the psychologist at the prison. Psychologist at the prison. Oh yeah, I'm gonna open my water. So one of the things that um someone actually told me, I'm not sure if it is real or right. Where's my oh there. So is to not drink water for 30 minutes after eating. Do you know that? So after a meal, you don't drink water or anything liquid for at least 30 minutes. And I've kind of been doing that. She can help when she is in prison. Assalamualaikum, alaikum assalam. Wait, alaikum assalam? Did I say that correctly? Stomach acid doesn't really care. Ah, okay. Oh, interesting for better digestion. Yeah, they said that if you drink water right away, it prevents the stomach from something like that. So they said like don't for like 30 minutes. Mental health issues are not an excuse for poor and unethical behavior. True? True, true, true. It dilutes the gastric acid. Okay, Lady Pink said she seems to know something about it. It dilutes the gastric acid. Can you drink water with your meal? It is not advised. Well, of course you should. I mean, if you're choking, probably a good idea to drink. I mean, a different kind of choking, uh, but generally you shouldn't for better digestion. They said. I need the shaman to come up with a Netflix documentary. Can be interesting. Actually, I want to appeal to Netflix. This is becoming interesting. So call me, okay, Netflix. I'll pitch a really good story. But I get really thirsty when I eat. Well, so do I. But I've kind of trained myself not to. I've been doing it for like, I don't know, since I've been here in the US. That's exaggeration. About 5 years. I can't do that. You have to drink with your meal. They said it's so healthier. You should write the script. Okay, Netflix, call me. All right. So okay, some interesting stuff. I know what to do. Because when I look, there you go. I'll put you there so I can see your chat. Okay. And then I'll do this. Okay. So this is the entire presentation. See, this is very so the one on top is 2024 and this is 2025. Okay. So we're just reviewing 2025 for this one. But there is an increase on the streams. So there are more people streaming now than there was in 2024. But the question now is that a significant increase? Because as people mature, more people enter the realm of the of people that are sort of a candidate for to become a part of the streaming market of the music market, and that's one of the things that this research did not explore. And this is also one of the things that many research does not explore. They don't really explain the universe of their respondents, right? You have to, and for you to get a better gauge of what they're measuring, you do need to understand their background. So there was an increase in streaming, 4.7 trillion to 5.1 trillion. But the question is that enough? Considering there are people are growing up, people are joining that market where they become a part of the streaming market, but we don't know because they didn't explain. Okay. So, but the not exclusive US on demand audio song streams, that's the majority because from the rest of the world, the 4.7 and 5.1 trillion streams, that's global. And then 3.3 and 3.7, that is US only. Okay. And then not very interesting. Canada, not very interesting. I mean the stat, not the country. So there are 106,000 songs, or ISRC. That's the ID of a song that gets uploaded on digital service provider like Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. Okay. So 106,000 on a daily basis. So this is the reason there are distributors. If you're Spotify, imagine the amount of things that you will be processing just to be able to make sure that the song that is being uploaded is of quality, it meets the technical standards of the platform. That's the role of a middleman, which is the distributor. They make sure that you have the legal papers, the legal documents that prove you own the copyright to the song that you are releasing, that it is of quality. It's not like something that you recorded using your phone, unless that is the intention. So that's 106,000 songs uploaded on a daily basis on the platforms, but 86% of the streams go to only 100 songs of those of the 106,000 being uploaded daily. Only 100 songs will get 86% of the streams, the total streams. Okay. Hope that makes sense. So, yeah, there's a lot of songs being uploaded, but only 100 of that will take a lion's share of the streams. Okay. So insight is that a lot of they need a lot of a lot of acts actually need good marketing for people just to learn about their songs, because they're not getting any kind of attention. So uploading your stuff isn't enough. Someone actually has to promote you, or you need to learn how to promote yourself. Okay. US on demand stream by release each year. So the songs that are getting the most streams released by the year. Does that make sense? So songs from 1975, for example, the songs that were released in 1975, they're getting less streams than the songs that were released in 2024, 2025, I guess for obvious reasons. Okay. But the songs back in 2024 are the ones that are getting the most streams. Okay. This is also interesting. These are the top songs that got the most streams released by year. Okay. Or by decade. Top genre, R&B and hip hop is still the number one genre, and then rock, and then pop, country, Latin, dance, electronic, world music, Christian gospel, children's songs, and holiday special. So, by far, it's hip hop and R&B is still the most popular genre. Okay, but the highest growth of genre, the genre that's growing the most, is rock, followed by Christian, and then Latin. Christian music, that is. Okay. Let's jump to something that is more interesting to to Asian entertainment. Where is that? Oh, okay, here. So a lot of people, so for 19 years, they said the sales of vinyl is actually going up. So people are starting to become interested in vinyls again. I'm wondering if they actually are listening to these vinyls, or it's just for collection. And the other thing is, why would you why would you want such a big piece in your house when you can just put it on your phone? So I'm thinking that it seems that it's all because they just wanted to collect it. Do you remember 2024 was when Taylor Swift actually released many of her vinyls when she released her albums? So I think that has something to do with it. That's why they went up again for 2019, for 2024. But interesting, I don't know. But I feel like it's for collection more than anything else. It's you think it's for collection too. Yeah, I think that's for collection too. Okay. So but and then there's also who are buying them. And it's mostly millennials that are buying them. Um and then they also have a higher income. Most of them, they said, it is the upper 36% of the ones of the yeah, upper 36% of the social classes. Those are the buyers of vinyl. And then most of these people, they buy from a store. But K-pop fans buy from mass market retailers. Isn't that interesting? So for those that are non K-pop, most of them will actually walk into a store, local store, and buy there. But for K-pop, they buy from mass market retailers. We know why. So this is all for 2024. Okay. Very interesting. I did an interview with a vinyl record store owner. So if you want to go back to that, please go ahead. It's very interesting. And I'm going to repeat this story for the new ones here. So he said that in the last several years, one of the most interesting things that he has experienced is seeing the growth of millennials and Gen Z walking into his store to buy records. So it could be a CD, it could also be vinyls because he sells both. And but there is a stark difference in behavior in terms of um, between the millennials, Gen Zs, and the older generation, Gen X, older millennials, because Gen Z would, and he's not exaggerating when he said this, he said that they would walk into a store and just talk like they're talking to an AI. They would just expect that there's going to be a response coming. As opposed to a Gen X or an older millennial, they would walk into a store and actually approach a person and then start asking questions. But when it is a Gen Zer or Gen Alpha, they would walk in and they just start talking, expecting some sort of a response. Okay, when I said, it's like, are you sure you're not being, you're not exaggerating? He said, no, I'm not exaggerating. That's really how they behave. And that he actually had to tell them, like, hi, my name is this, and yeah, I'm here. If you have any questions, just ask me. You can ask me directly, and you will get a response from an actual human being. My son bought me a record. My son bought me a record player for Christmas 2 years ago, so I had to buy BTS vinyls. I said I would never go back to record player. Okay, and then the 2025 share of global premium streams by market. It's still the dominant is still the U.S. So these are the top 10. So you have the US, Mexico, Brazil, Germany, Australia, France, Canada, Japan, and UK, and the rest would be 34%. So US is still the biggest US market, sorry, the biggest music market. People are going to ask, why are people, singers, they want to go to the US? Because we are the biggest US music market. Okay, so this is by streaming. They are the top 10. Okay. Um, and then the biggest region that's growing is LATAM. That is why I think Hybe investing in LATAM is one of the best decisions they've ever made because that's where the growth is happening. Okay. Um, okay. My computer is just acting up. Okay. uh, Likelihood of people paying for paid subscription based on the genre. Pop, by the way, K-pop is under pop. K-pop is under pop. Are they taking into account the streaming services in China? No, they are not. No, those people don't want to give away their data. Okay, so hip hop is as I've said, K-pop is under pop, but in terms of the likelihood of a genre to get a paid streaming service, hip hop is number one. Okay. All right. I'm trying to go to the interesting ones. So, all right. So here, I know there's a lot of discussion when it comes to what platform are we going to be like. there's a constant effort to post streaming records in different platforms, right? Like Apple and Spotify. Now, of all that, Spotify are the only ones that are giving exact numbers, meaning you will actually see the number of streams a song has in their platform. Amazon, um, and then Apple Music, you don't know how many streams they're getting. But this is going to give you an idea what genre dominates that platform. So for example, for R&B and hip hop, Apple Music and then YouTube Music, those are the top two genres for that. Okay, so most hip hop fans and most R&B hip hop fans, they go to either Apple Music or YouTube Music. For pop fans, they go to Spotify. For country music, they usually go to Amazon Music. So when people say like, oh, like BTS is not topping Amazon Music, sure, they're not in the general list because most of the ones that are in Apple Music are country listeners. But it doesn't change it if you have to go genre by genre if you want a more accurate measure. And then for rock, they usually go Apple Music. I can tell you why hip hop and R&B and Apple Music are dominated by hip hop because they have a better sound quality. if you go to if you listen to Spotify and then you listen to Apple Music, there's a difference in the quality of the music that you're hearing. So, and then the other reason I like Apple Music and Amazon Music and even Napster is the payout. Napster has the biggest payout for artists. And I like my money going, as much of my money going to artists. That's why I listen to those. Okay. Okay, now this is an important thing. So, top 10 music documentaries of the year for 2025, becoming Led Zeppelin, Selena, Taylor Swift, Return of the King, The Rise and Fall of Elvis Presley, Ozzy, Yacht Rock, Avicii, Skylabs, Stans, and Carole King. So this are where they were released: Netflix, Disney, Netflix, HBO, Paramount, Netflix, Disney, Paramount, HBO. Naturally dominated by Netflix, but a huge chunk of the audience are now looking into watching documentaries about the artist. So this is the year 2024. The last several years have witnessed the increase of interest of the audience in documentaries, specifically documentaries that talk about the process of creating something, whether it's a process of creating a song, a process of creating a concert, doing a concert. More people are going in wanting to know the story behind the thing that they are consuming. So this will be a continuous no jeans invented documentaries. So this is going to be an important component of um, the experience of people, the experience of the public. BTS did not invented this, but I'm about to say something that people are going to say, "Oh, you're crediting BTS for inventing it." No, BTS did not invent the documentaries for music, but they were the ones who They are the first that actually went regular, like they would regularly release a documentary about an album. So from Love Yourself, actually way back when, like Red Bullet Tour, Love Yourself, Speak Yourself, all of that, they made a documentary. They would always release a documentary after an album. And that comes in different forms. You have it in the memories that they release every year. You have the one specific to that album. So it includes the album. You know this, right? So if you buy an album, it usually includes um, extras. So sometimes it's an actual CD where you can actually see the content, and sometimes it's a QR code. You click on that QR code, and it's going to allow you to watch an extra content. But there's always a documentary, some sort of an explanation on how this thing came to be. And then there are actual releases, the ones that they work with Disney Plus, Amazon What else do they work with? Amazon Prime, YouTube, and sometimes they release it. So something that Hybe has already been doing, well, Big Hits specifically have already been doing, is now taking shape in the global market. Because look at this, like look at the amount of musical documentaries that were released. So I think they have always been in the right track from the very beginning. Um, and any trend to become normalized, for a trend to not be a trend and become an actual practice, it does take 10 to 20 years, right? Because something can be trending in a year, but for it to actually take root and become a specific practice, it does take about 10 to 15 years, maybe even 20 years. And they are in that trajectory. They started doing it 13 years ago, 12 years ago, 11 years ago, and now it's taking shape. Now it's becoming regular. Outside of Taylor Swift, Beyonce also had her documentary. Uh, she did one for Lemonade. She did one for her Coachella headline. So it's becoming a regular practice. What's the platform for Carol King and James Taylor? So they will be pop, right? Right? Rock? No, rock. So they would be Apple Music. Apple Music. Okay. Next, so music documentary by platform, the most popular one would be Netflix. And this actually strengthened my belief, my delusion. Now, this strengthened my belief that the comeback in Wamon is going to be aired in Netflix. And but really the biggest thing that made me believe um they are going to go in in Netflix is when the release stated, not the release, their application stated that it is going to be open to 300 million subscribers. So I thought, that's Netflix. And someone reminded me YouTube as well, which is true. It could also be YouTube. But I think it's going to be Netflix. Let's see. BTS competing with Taylor Swift. I'm surprised they haven't collabed yet since Taylor loved them since day one. Um, I think both parties are trying to be careful as well. You want, as Taylor Swift, in the last 3, 5 years, I would say Taylor Swift was trying to establish her legacy. She wanted to, we all know she's popular and we all know that now, right? But if you started like 5, 6 years ago, she was on her trajectory towards rising to the top. And she definitely wants to work with people where her artistry and pull will not be questioned. This is my speculation. I don't know her. So if she goes and work with BTS, then there are people that are going to say, "Well, you're pulling the audience of BTS." Those are two different audiences. Um, that's also why I think Beyonce and Taylor Swift haven't worked together. I don't think it's because they dislike each other. I mean, both attended each other's premiere nights. So obviously, and they have nothing but good words for each other. But I think it's just that they kind of want to be careful in how they establish their legacy. But that's just my opinion. Okay. Documentary premiere reached its peak on 2024, went down in 2025 for obvious reasons, but 2024 is when it reached its peak in terms of premieres. Taylor Swift earned 50 million on the official release party of the Party of a Showgirl, distributed by AMC. 50 million official release party. Okay. Um, and then the other thing that's also becoming a big thing is music at movies. So people like experiencing the music with a narrative. They like that. So 33% of Ariana Grande fans are more likely to book an airline ticket in the next 3 months than the average US consumer. 72% of Ariana Grande fans would tune into a show performance of hers. So this all ties into the necessity of a narrative when it comes to music. So that proves that it proves this theory, not theory, but the claims of many research stating that in the next several generations, or at least in the coming generation, maybe I'm exaggerating when I say next several generation, but in the coming generation and in the coming years, people are going to start experiencing music in a different way. They're going to want for more. And I think, but this does not, it is not included in the research. I think it's because music is so like it's everywhere. It's on our phones. It's everywhere. It's on our computer. It's on our TV. You can access it in so many different ways that it becomes so common. It's nothing special anymore. You're walking in the street. You're jogging. You can just get your phone and play music. So I think people want something special and something different if they want to heighten their experience of music. And how are you going to do it? Events, narratives, movies, TV shows. And this stat actually proves that music at the movies has made such an impact this year. Okay. The good news is that BTS has been doing that for a really long time. Right? So they've done that. They started that with Wayang Yonwa. Well, they started it with the school trilogy, but the one that really made it like a very specific um, narrative was Wayang Yonwa. So it's whatever trend is coming up, BTS has been there way before the trend arrived. So Netflix K-pop Demon Hunters actually drove music consumption globally. They're still very, very popular. Yeah, I know that there are apprehensions about the fact that this is payola to a certain extent because it's Netflix. So Netflix was actually pushing it to everybody, to all of their subscribers. And when you have Netflix backing you, it's very, very easy to become popular. And then to a certain degree, that is true. Did you see about the first time ARIRANG was recorded? Seven men in the US attending university 100 years ago. Yes, I did. I talked about that last week or 2 weeks ago, maybe. I think yes. So the story is that there were seven. These are seven students, Koreans in the U.S. The real story is kind of funny because they stole money from someone. So they're studying in a university in the US, does not speak English, decided to steal some money and then go off and travel. And then when they run out of money, they called the South Korean embassy. They asked help from a Japanese embassy to call the Korean embassy to ask for help because they didn't have money. They didn't know how to go back to Canada. And then allegedly, the then ambassador of South Korea to the US sort of took pity on them because it reminded him of himself who also ran away. So he decided he was going to help the seven guys. So for several months, he was the one directly financing them so that they can rebuild their presence back into their university. And then other people started helping. And in one of the events, like a party or something, one of the students said, "Can you like give us like sing for us?" And they didn't know any other song. They're not singers. And so they decided they were going to sing Arirang. So, and that became the very first recording of a Korean song in the US. And there were also allegedly seven men. I think, if at all, the only thing that I sort of wish had happened is that they kept up with the seven men because no one knows. No one knows what happened to them after. But I sure thought, I would think some of them sort of made it big. So I wish someone would actually make an effort to research what happened to them. Okay, so the new versions of hit single Golden attract new audiences outside of the Asia Pacific region. So a huge part of the bigger study, the more formal study, they have an expanded one, is that they said that K-pop Demon Hunters also introduced a wider audience to. They added, basically. They're not saying that K-pop Demon Hunters is the one that introduced the global market to K-pop, but they helped. Does that make sense? because other acts would just reinforce what BTS has already started. But they are saying that K-pop Demon Hunters actually tapped in a new market, which is something that other groups weren't able to. They're not saying that part. I'm the one saying that part. Just want to make it clear. So what they said, okay, just to make it clear, what they're saying in the study is that K-pop Demon Hunters introduced a new segment to Asian music. Okay. All right. Now this is me talking. Okay? That this you will not find in the study. They did not say in any part of the study that they are the ones that are totally expanding K-pop. It seems that what they're saying, this is my interpretation, is that they are able to do something that other acts haven't been able to do, because other acts have only reinforced what BTS started, but K-pop Demon Hunters helped in expanding it. Hope that's clear. Okay. I don't want to claim something they said that they didn't say. So that part was mine. Okay. The other thing that is expanding and is now becoming visible is how much gaming is becoming a part of music, and music is becoming a part of gaming. So a lot of the acts that have put their songs in different games have experienced surge in new fans. Daft Punk is one of them. They made a partnership. They did a partnership with Fortnite, and it brought in new fans into their music. But also, I think that's a good synergy. I don't know if you've heard of that Daft Punk, but the music actually fits well in a gaming environment. So, and again, I'm very happy that Hype is already there. We know that they've been working on integrating more of their singers, of the songs into gaming, because now the things that people are laughing at them before, they are proving to be correct. They said 5 years ago, more than 5 years ago, even before the pandemic, Bang Shiuk has already been saying that we're going to get into gaming because that's going to be the future of music. And now, 7 years after, 6 years after, he's being proven correct. So I'm just happy that no one can say that BTS and other hype acts are just following the lead of somebody else because they were there before other groups. Okay. Next, yeah, okay. Now this is the another interesting part. So in the Luminate report, they sort of stated where the highest number of fandoms are. Okay, so these are the highest number of fandoms. So in Brazil, so the ones that are highlighted yellow, oh, they will say it anyway. Well, true. But at least we have it on record to say 7 years ago, Bang already said that. So now everyone is catching up. Um, yeah, I've always said that. Uh, like when so when they get into gaming, any kind of consumption is an NFT. So if you buy something in games, that is an NFT that you're buying. That's just because there's no other. You can't exchange money inside a game, right? Like real money, you can't physically give a bill inside a game, right? So you do it through an NFT. You convert your money into an NFT. And when that started, people thought, like the mainstream, of course, gamers already knew about that because they were already using it. But like for the mainstream, they were like, oh, the NFTs and whatever. I said, that's where it's happening. Um, but I've realized that any new technology and development is always hard to stomach, because when radio was introduced and when a phone was introduced, everyone said that it's a useless piece of technology. Like it's useless, that it's either from the devil or it's a waste of time and whatever. I realized that the mainstream always catches up much later. Okay. Anyway, going back into the fandoms, um, Brazil, this is surprising. Brazil and Sweden are the top two that had the biggest growth in terms of fandom. But the other interesting thing is that fandoms are now becoming more mainstream. Kind of odd, right? It's becoming more mainstream in other platforms. In other genres. because fandoms used to be just identified with pop. And for a really long time, it was exclusively identified with K-pop. Even though the fandoms exist in other countries, in other industries. But for a really long time, it was just K-pop. But now it's spreading because um, R&B, rock, pop, Latin sound, all of them are developing their own fandoms now. So Brazil, Sweden, Taiwan, Japan, Philippines, Malaysia, and Argentina are the countries that are seeing a surge in fandoms. And that, of course, are shown in different ways. Some import, some the number one importer, but basically, these are the countries that are growing their fandoms. Okay, this is just a export. And then these are the regions where the growth of music is starting. In Asia Pacific, pop, country, and folk and religious songs are growing. And then in Europe, it's pop, rock, and Latin. And then Australia and New Zealand, rock, pop, and Latin as well. And then in Latin America, rock, children's music, and then jazz. So these are the genres that are leading the growth of music in their industry. Okay. Uh, so I'm just going through the parts where super fans, global citizens, critical connectors. So much of the conversation around superfan impact centers on this loyal group, local impact, whether it be in music consumption or financial commitment. So the US witnessed a 33% surge in fandoms. Actually, in superfans, 33% increase in superfans in the US back in 2025. In Japan, 35%. So in the market that is so saturated with super fans, they still grew. They still grew 35%. And then India, 23%. But I'm very much surprised. And of course, I'm always looking out for US because that's where I live. That's my country. So 33% increase in fandoms or super fans. And then top five. So these are the and yes, that's Jimin. And no, I did not put his picture there. It came with a presentation of Luminate. So in the US, the top 5 ways on how superfans support their group would be attend in-person live music performances. We're going to do that. Number 2, talk about them with friends and family. We often do that. We purchase physical merch. We do that. Purchase physical music. We do that. And then attend virtual live performances, virtual live music performances. Yes, we do that. I therefore say this is accurate. These are the ways that we actually support our favorite. Therefore, very, very accurate for us. Okay. In Japan, they attend in-person live music performances, purchase music, purchase physical merch, purchase digital music, and they subscribe to a fan club. So, for us, what's different is when we talk about them with family and friends, and that we also attend virtual live music performances. Isn't that interesting? For India, purchase digital music, attend virtual live music performances, attend in person live music performances, talk about them with family and friends, and post about them on social media. US, you have to do better in posting social media. Okay. Top 5 sources. Another important part of the research is how people discover music. Okay. So many of you actually asked me to create my own marketing plan on how I'm going to if had it been my call, how am I going to market BTS outside of the usual marketing them to the general public? This kind of findings actually help marketers like me. And I will do that. I started doing that when you requested. I just am not done with it, but most likely next week I'll publish it. But one of the things that people discover music really is through video and audio streaming platform. You can't avoid it. So if you're a marketer, you have to take that into consideration. So in the US, we discover music via video and audio streaming platforms, social media, friends and relatives. So we're in the right track talking to friends and family about BTS. Short video clips, that is TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and movies, and then movies and movie soundtrack. Okay, so since I want to market them in the US, this is an important insight for me because this is how people discover them, right? So just trying to like make sense of all of this research and how a marketer or a PR person or a branding person actually looks at it. You look at these insights. If you know a very reliable source like Luminate, and then you pick up other sources that also are doing the same things, and then look like, okay, what are we looking at? Um, how are people uh actually discovering music? And this is the five: video and audio performances, social media, friends and relatives, short video clips, and movies and movie soundtrack. So if you're a marketer, get into those. So that's how they will discover BTS. In Japan, it's video and streaming platforms, TV, short video clips like TikTok, music related websites, artist page and news, and friends and relatives. In India, video and audio streaming platforms, social media, TV, movies and movie soundtrack, and then friends and relatives. So that's a clue. I'm going to look at this research and other several other research more. And in my presentation, in my very boring presentation, I'm going to discuss that. I'll do a video on it and try to make it less boring. Okay. And then this is just the funnel. Also very important for a marketer like me, because this is how they actually turn into, this is their journey from being a casual listener to becoming a super fan. This is the journey that they take. They listen to all music, and then they listen to music using ad supported streams, and then they pay for certain things, and then they engage with the artist in at least 3 of the 13 active channels, and then they become super fans. Okay, so that's their joint, that's the funnel. So if I'm the marketing person, this is the steps that I'm going to be looking at. How do I make them go from the 100% to just listening to music to becoming super fans? Okay. Um I I'm sure you don't want to hear about AI artists, but they're growing. So this are the top. We're now talking about machine created music. So the biggest artist, AI artist, is Sanya Monet. I've actually heard some of her songs, and it's very AI. So Sanya Monet is very, very popular. And then you have Breaking Rust. I haven't heard of her or him. Kane Walker, never heard. Juno Style, I've heard. And then Enely Blue. Okay. But Sanya is the popular one. That's how I heard about her, because she's popular. I like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Sanya Monet. And you know, I guess if you're into that type of music, go ahead. It's very generic. If you want to listen to, if you're not looking to, I don't know, like, for me, I think there is a place for AI generated music for sure. I think there's place for that. But I don't think it's for me. That their place is not in me. It's probably somewhere else, but not in me. Um, yeah, no. But the newer generations, like, not newer, younger generations, they don't mind listening to it. What I do think, and I've said this before, and I'll say it, and I'll continue saying it. I think the biggest contribution of AI would be weeding out um the mediocre. That is what I think is going to happen. Jazzy said you need to hear my songs. Okay, send them to me. I'll listen to it. So I do think that it's going to be, unfortunately, what's going to happen. AI is going to weed out the um the mediocres. So because it is mediocre. So if you can access something cheaper that is just giving you the same quality as other songs or other artists that are charging you for it, then you're going to go for the free version. So it's still a struggle. But that's like the fight of artists in the future. You fight quality, not necessarily AI. Okay, so these are the songs that are being consumed: song instrumentals, song lyrics. Uh, yeah, it's AI, so let's not. Yeah, percent either very or somewhat comfortable with AI generated lyrics. Okay. Year end charts. These are the biggest songs of the year just for 2025. Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars, Die with a Smile. This song is just, it has legs. My God, the mortality, the longevity of this song, not mortality, the longevity of this song. Die with a Smile, 2.58 billion. And also Golden because it was released later, way later, but it's still, I mean, Alex Warren, Ordinary, Rose and Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars is there twice. Wow. Apathy. And then Billie Eilish or Eilish, Birds of a Feather. Bud Bunny, DTMF. Kendrick Lamar, Luther, SZA. Did I pronounce that correctly? Kendrick Lamar and SZA, Luther. Benson Boone, Beautiful Things. I love Benson Boone. Somber and Back to Friends. And then Gracie Adams, That's So True. The only song I have not heard of this is Greasy Adams. I guess I should listen to it. Die with a Smile, you like it? Okay, and then on demand video streams. So these are the video streams, not just so music videos. Wheels on the Bus and then Apathy, I guess number ones, that's the fandom of Rose. They're working hard in pulling the number of views on YouTube. And of course, Blinks as well, not just number ones. And then Die with a Smile, Huntrix. Okay, so other songs. Pink Fong, Baby Shark is still there. So I guess this is because kids are actually watching it. Okay, so album sales, Taylor Swift is number one. Morgan Wallen, SZA. Am I pronouncing her name correctly? Bad Bunny. Sorry, soundtrack of K-pop Demon Hunters. Bad Bunny, Kendrick Lamar, Sabrina Carpenter, Morgan Wallen, Party Next Door, and Drake, and then Tate McRae. Top 10 album sales dominated by Stray Kids. Not sorry, by K-pop, not by Stray Kids. Um, so we have Stray Kids, Taylor Swift, Stray Kids, The Weeknd, Stray Kids, Sabrina Carpenter, Kendrick Lamar, K-pop Demon Hunters, Morgan Wallen, and Lady Gaga. No, I'm not pronouncing it correctly. How is it supposed to be pronounced? Okay, so and then top 10 CD albums: Taylor Swift, Stray Kids, and Hypen. 80s. And then Stray Kids, Cat's Eye, The Weeknd, Travis Scott, and Jack Boys, and then TXT dominated. This is the list that I was talking about. It's dominated by K-pop. So this is CD albums, and this is albums in general. So it includes the conversion of streams into albums. Does that make sense? So this is physical sales, CD, not just physical, but CD in particular. And then vinyls, Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, Sabrina, Kendrick, Sabrina, Billie Eilish, Fleetwood Mac. Wow. Michael Jackson. Could you imagine Michael Jackson still there? Thriller. Oh my God. All right. Top 10 cassette, Taylor Swift's Guardians of the Galaxy, Chappelle Rowan, soundtrack C4. Did Chappelle release any songs this year or albums? I didn't hear her. Probably it's just the last quarter of the year. Okay. And then on demand, Ordinary by Alex Warren is number one. Okay. And then on demand audio, Ordinary again by Alex Warren. On demand audio streams, Ordinary again. So it's the same across all their stats. It's usually the same, the usual suspects. Okay. And then program audio. So I think those are the interesting findings. All right. So, okay. So I guess the biggest takeaway for me in this entire study is that in where the music is headed, where music consumption is headed, I'm just glad that BTS is already there in terms of packaging music with narrative, BTS has already done. I mean, that's all the entire reason why, or at least many of us, that's how we started supporting them, because they put a narrative, including it tied to their music. Uh, and as I've discussed with you before, the one benefit to BTS is that they ended up selling not just their music but also their culture. So when you go to their country, there's the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, until 20th spend. You're spending on them and on their country because you kind of want to experience everything connected to them, and not just their music, which is, I think, it's a brilliant move. And now the world is catching up, right? So um all of my videos hasn't been for nothing. At least for me. I know that all this analysis that I've made is kind of um it's true. This is actually correct. Okay, that's a selfish sentiment. It has nothing to do with BTS. Please post your Patreon, the Discord, and your website, ma'am. Okay. BTS will own 2025. I think I have that somewhere. Here. There you go. Okay. So those are my, if you want to follow me on X and Patreon, from Patreon you'll be able to follow me on Discord. Do you have questions before we go? And yes, please hit the like button. So after this, I'm just going to go and spend time with my dog. He needs it. And then I'm going to go back into delivering the tickets for the suites. Do we have any more available suites, or are we all out for all of your, I know that Texas is out. We're all sold out. So, can you still buy stocks for hype? You can. It's very expensive now. You should have bought like a year ago. But the best time to buy the stocks is yesterday. The second time to buy the stocks is today. No, that's actually incorrect. The best time to buy stocks is 10 years ago. The second time to buy stocks is now. Yes, you can still buy them. You keep us well informed and educated. Thank you, Fiona. Thank you. Thank you for geeking out with me. Oh, we have a pretty decent turnout. We have 500 people watching on YouTube. Hi, 500 people. Thank you very much for staying. I do have a live stream for my for Legacy and Tanzanite because I missed it last Friday. So I'll do that. I'll make up for it this Friday. And then for the rest of you, I will see you on Discord, and I'm going to see you next Monday, and also for the video later this morning, tomorrow morning. Love geeking out to numbers with you. Thank you. I do love geeking out with numbers with you too. So thank you very much, people. Bye.